The next step is what you're going to grow in. And there's a number of things here. So if you like building things, then wooden raised beds are a great way to go. As you can see with like that garden I'm building now, that's what we're doing for a lot of ours. If you don't,
the on legs or without legs. I mean, you can do both because I know some people have knee issues or back issues and they can't really lean over. So having like actual raised off the bed ones too can be helpful.
especially if like a kitchen garden, or if you have like a dog that will definitely dig in your garden,
Yeah.
get them off the ground, stuff like that. These Vego Gardens, they're in the picture on the right, are a great option as well. They are metal raised beds that they ship to you in a box, and you just put the screws in to hold it together, and you have a raised bed. Voila! We sell these through our app and on Park Seed, and you can save 15% on these actually with code SPOON15. Got to remember to say that. I keep always forget. So that's another great option. We really like using these smart pots, the third option here. These are fabric raised beds that you can unfold, put on the ground, fill with soil, and you're good to go.
Super easy, especially if you're a beginner just getting started. You don't have to like build anything, do anything. You just simply order it, unfold it, and do it. Like it's great.
I think if we look in this picture, you can see in the bottom right, we've got a smart pot that shows it kind of mixed with.
Yeah, the other ones are too full with plants to see, but those are all smart pots too along that side.
Yeah. So these are a great option as well. Or you can do in ground. In ground is going to provide some more challenges because you're going to be dealing with existing weeds and things like that. Also, you're going to be more prone to things like flooding. You're going to have to do more work to adjust the soil. So typically, we recommend doing some form of a raised bed, and then making your own soil mix. And we'll talk about how to do that here on one of these slides coming up.
Yeah, especially if you're a beginner, like just raise is going to be a lot simpler for you, and then you won't have to deal with all the excess things that in the ground you deal with.
Okay, we got a question from Josie here. So on the pots with handles that you can pick up and move, is it a good choice for veggies, herbs, and you might need to move? Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I love these smart pots because you can move them. So if you notice that they are not getting enough sun or if they're getting too much shade, you can adjust them, move them. We've actually brought ours indoors, like if or into the garage, if there's like a sudden storm or a sudden unexpected frost or something along those lines. So it's really great to have that for a number of different reasons.
Another question about smart pots. The roots do not grow through the smart pots. They'll stay within the smart pot. Now, the cool thing is once the roots hit the side of the smart pot, they don't do what they typically do in like plastic containers where they start to circle and then get all fibrous and useless. They stop and they continue to absorb oxygen, and it really makes a big difference. Like we've done some tests with them side by side to other containers, and they clearly outperform them. So that's one of the reasons why I like these smart pots, especially we grow a lot of tomatoes in a smart pot where we have one like 25-gallon smart pot, like a big one with handles dedicated to like a Roma tomato or something like that we want to grow as a determinant. And then we can move it around too. So if it starts to get late into the summer and it's getting burned up a little bit, then we can move it in an area where it gets more shade at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like having them in those big containers too because we can also put like a marigold and some basil in there with it too and try to keep some pests away.
Question here about raised beds. The best wood is going to be cedar, but it does cost more. I ended up trying to save money, and I'm just going with the pine that you can get at the big box stores. I go with 2x10s. And then for some of the gardens, I do 2x12s, depending on what I'm going to be growing in it. But cedar is definitely a better way to go. The amount of gardens we're going to be building, I tried to save a little bit of money there. So question here about trellises. I'll go ahead and answer it here, though. How far apart do you space a fence post for a trellis with a 60? We do about every 4 feet. We'll do some sort of structure, whether it's a T-post or that's usually what we do on cattle panels is just T-posts in the ground every 4 feet. One more question here about raised beds. Straw bales as raised beds. I've seen people do it with success. I have not for two reasons, or the reasons I've avoided this so far. Number one, it's pretty difficult to find straw in Oklahoma that has not been sprayed with herbicide. Just the nature of how they harvest straw. I'd have to find organic straw or something like that. It's pretty difficult to find. Two, if it hasn't been sprayed with herbicide, then it definitely has seeds in it. Probably has seeds in it either way, but still, I'm going to be dealing with a lot of seeds, and then I'm going to be dealing with more weeds. So that's why I have not done that. But I know the method works. I've seen it work for other people. I'm sure there are ways of getting around the problems I just outlined. But two is kind of the volume of how much we're trying to grow. It would be a lot of work for me to get all the straw bales required and do all that. Like whereas I can just build these wooden raised beds and grow a lot more and a smaller amount of space. And then great comment here about smart pots. That's our favorite way to grow potatoes for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, because it's super easy to harvest them after the fact. You can just dump them out, and we dump them into like a wheelbarrow or something along those lines. And the kids just go to town and they Easter egg hunt to pull out, see who can win, who gets the most potatoes.
Yep. It's awesome. So, potatoes and tomatoes are really the major things we're growing in the big smart
Yeah.
pots.